about what happened after the dog died. So I don't know what normally happens when a dog dies and what do you do with the dog, but this one was cremated and its ashes were placed into this urn, and the urn was placed on top of the fireplace in the TV room. And I've never told my stepmom this, but there was one day when I was home by myself, and I thought to myself, you know what? I've never actually seen dog ashes before. So I grabbed the urn, and I pop open the top, and I learned something, that they don't just take the ashes and pour it directly into the urn. They actually put it into this plastic bag, and the plastic bag is placed in the urn. And when I saw this, I had this incredible idea, possibly the best idea I've ever had. So we also had this can of peanut brittle. Now, it just says peanut brittle on the outside because when you actually open it, all these spring snakes come jumping out and scares the crap out of you. Now, this novelty can of peanut brittle and the dog urn were about the same size and shape. And this is too perfect. I have to do this. So I take the ashes out of the dog urn, and I take the spring snakes, and I jam them into the dog urn, and I quickly close the top, and I'm not sure if the top is gonna hold because the tension of the springs, I thought it was gonna pop the top off, but it didn't. The top held, and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect, and I take the urn with the spring snakes, and I place it back on top of the fireplace, ready to pounce for the next person who wants to know what dog ashes look like. And I step back, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be hilarious. I did this like 15 years ago. And I'm still waiting for someone to open that urn. I'll go to my family. Hey, you want to know what dog ashes look like? No, what the hell's wrong with you? All right, so imagine a pincushion, but not like a normal pincushion, because the normal pincushion has the sharp points like going into the pincushion. Imagine like a reverse pincushion where the sharp point comes out, and so you can't even like pick this thing up without pricking yourself. Now imagine fucking that pincushion, because that is what it's like to be a porcupine. Like, I don't know where baby porcupines come from because they don't come from fucking. It's physically impossible. And even if they did, and a female porcupine somehow got pregnant, now she has to give live birth to a fucking porcupine. Did you know that elephants, they walk up to 20 miles a day, every day, eating nothing but vegetation? So why are they still fat? All right, I'm going to tell you this story. This is a story, this actually happened this is a story of how I got all the jelly beans. So, I'm in my early 20s, and for the first time in my life, I'm working in an office, and my cubicle is right next to the office secretary, Sharon. And for the most part, me and Sharon got along great. But there were a few exceptions, and this story is one of those exceptions. So it's right after Easter, and Sharon has a big bowl of community jelly beans left over from Easter, and they're for the whole office. Anyone from the office can come up and grab the free jelly beans. So I do. I walk up to Sharon's desk, and I grab some jelly beans, and as soon as I do this, she gives me this evil look, like I'm doing something wrong. And she goes, "What do you think you're doing?" And I'm like, "What? I'm grabbing jelly beans." And she's like, "Don't stick your dirty fingers in there. What do you think the spoon is for?"
Oh my God.
And I was just not thinking that day. Because in my mind, I panicked because I looked at it, I'm like, okay, bowl, spoon, oh, cereal. Sharon wants me to eat the jelly beans like cereal. So I grab the spoon and take a big scoop of jelly beans, and I stick it directly in my mouth. And then she gives me an even more evil look, and at this point it hits me like, oh my God, that's not what she meant at all. And then when I realized what I was doing, I started laughing, and with the spoon in my mouth, and when I started laughing, a jelly bean flew out of my mouth and landed back in the bowl. And then Sharon gets really angry, and then she's like, that's it! Now nobody gets any jelly beans. And I'm very practical, and I'm like, Sharon, if you're just gonna throw these away, I can help you out. I'll take these off your hands. So I grabbed the bowl, and I ran back to my cubicle, and for the rest of the afternoon, I am eating jelly beans in my cubicle. And that is the story of how I got all the jelly beans. And that's all I had. Thanks for coming on.